Recording. Okay, it says it's
Is
recording.
that
Okay.
right?
All right. Here we go. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for coming on and being a guest.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. I wanted to say your name, but I don't want to say your last name and screw it up. So if you could say your name.
Yeah. I want to play with you here. How do you think it's pronounced?
Hanania?
Yeah, actually, yeah, Hanania.
Okay.
Yeah, you're like part of the 10% that actually got it right. I like that. I really,
Wow.
I've seen it all with that. Somebody, I did an event and they introduced me as Hanini, Hanini, and I was so confused. So I walk out, I'm like, I know y'all are hungry. We just are about to go into lunch, but unfortunately, an Italian dessert menu is not going to walk out on stage. You know, got to make the best of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, I always hate that. Like if I have someone on and I wound up saying their name wrong, like I mean, if it's like an easy name, I'll say it. But
Right.
but if it's a name like a name, a long name or something, and I'll be like, I don't even want to try it because even if I say it, it might be pronounced a different way, and
I feel you with that. I feel you with that. I'm used to it though. It happens.
wanted to ask you, you love doing music, you love doing songs. What drew you to want to do music?
Oh man, so this is this is a fun story actually. So we go back to high school. So I'm a sophomore in college now. So we're going back to it would have been October of 2018. I'm probably the third or fourth week in October, and so I had this Ibanez. So I guess we got to go back to 2014. After my bar mitzvah, I bought this Ibanez. This is my first guitar, and it's left-handed. So I bought this left-handed Ibanez, and then it sat collecting dust on the stand for about 4 years.
Oh
I
wow.
think I touched it maybe once or twice over those couple of years. And then I posted it on my Instagram one day, and like when I was doing a Q&A type thing, and someone asked, "Do you play guitar?" And my response was no. And then they said, "You should." Well, then time passes. I end up dating that person who's a musician, and they kind of got me in the songwriting process, like to
Nice.
realizing that what songwriting is. Since I wrote poems, like, oh, you can actually write poems that are like songs. So I did that, and then after our breakup, I continued on with my music career. Then I got on Spotify, I want to say summer of 2019. And then here we are now. It's 2 years. It's a crazy 2 years. I'm working on another album, and they'll be hopefully coming out in the relative soon. I don't have a date set yet, but that's the summarized version of how I got into music,
Sweet,
into
sweet.
guitars and singing, I should say. But I played drums for, I think, 17 years now, probably around that range. So,
Really?
yeah.
So was that the first thing you did
Mhm.
was play drums?
Yeah, I've been playing them since I was, I think, 3 or 4. And I'm
Damn.
self-taught too. I don't know how to read any type of music. So I've taught myself drums. I taught myself the guitar. I'm currently teaching myself piano. Like I said, I don't read sheet music.
Oh, no, that's really cool. Wow. So
It's challenging because I don't know if you're familiar with how guitar chords work. The chord diagrams are made for right-handers, so I have to flip them to play it on my guitar since I play left-handed. So not only do I have to understand that how it looks on the right hand, I then have to analyze each chord and flip it backwards. Or if I'm playing somebody's guitar that's right-handed, I have to play it upside down and backwards. So I have to strum backwards and I have to do the chords completely upside down.
oh wow.
Yeah,
So
it's a
like
challenge.
if you would hear a song like a song's playing on television or radio, like you could just pick it pick it up and just start playing it if you hear it.
Not on the guitar, but on the drums, yes. And I do that with the drums. I call it my drummeritis here. Is I'll be like, people are like, oh, you're like the pens. I turned everything into a drum set. I air a drum. But yeah, with drums, that's how it is on the radios. I can pretty much right away, unless it's really heavy metal where it's a really complicated beat or like very electronic, like pop music. It's hard to tell because it's hard to tell what the drums are in that. But other than that, yeah, for the most part, and that's how I learn, just playing random songs and learning the patterns.
Wow. Like, but the one drummer that like I've seen like so many bands live. Well, I mean, not now with COVID, but like
Mhm.
I like I saw so many bands live from Aerosmith, Bon Jovi to Crew. Tommy Lee is like amazing on
Oh
the drums.
yeah, he
I was
is.
at a show where he was doing a drum set solo, and
Oh,
the his drum set went up in the air and it spinned him around while he was playing.
what?
Yeah, I don't know how he did that. Like he was the drum set was spinning around and around. He was playing upside down and everything, just banging the drums
Oh,
away.
I would challenge because what most people don't realize is the physics of cymbals, right? So if you have anything hanging here, you hit it down, but if it's hanging, you have to hit it up. So I'm guessing he has to learn how to play like hitting it up like that because that's impressive. That's like an engineering marvel.
I
Man, that
know.
would have been something to see. I would only worry. What happens if he drops a stick? Because you can't have like another one like in your stick bag because it'll all fall out when you go upside down.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you gotta like really have like iron grip on those things.
I know. When I was like in shock, like when I saw his drum set just spinning around, then it stood and he was playing a solo upside down, and then somehow the drum set went on these things and it ran across the arena like
What?
a roller coaster. It was running all over the top of the building like a roller coaster.
What?
And then he was, I mean, if you could look that up
I
online
think
on
I've actually seen
YouTube.
a video. I think I saw the video. I think he got stuck in one of the shows. I think that was like a viral thing. He got stuck and like the guys had to climb up it. But like, oh my, I can only imagine how that like this got to be such a marvel between trying to get it mic'd and trying to learn how to play it and like how do you logistically get a drum set on a roller coaster? That's cool. Now was that the kit he was playing the whole show or did he like move from the stage to a separate kit?
When it was time for Tommy Lee to do his thing, the drum part solo, like that's when like his drum set elevated into the air.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
See, all the people I've seen playing drums live are stationary, with the exception of Josh Dunn, he gets on a little drum set on top of the audience.
Mhm.
Other than that, they're pretty stationary, unfortunately. I've seen Charlie Watts, though. I know at one point when they did one of their older shows, his would be on a platform. Like the whole stage would have like a little sub stage, so the drums would move on the platform so they could all get out to the middle. But other than that, I don't think I've ever seen anything like with moving drums before.
Oh my God, it was
That's neat.
wild.
I mean, Neil Peart, his stuff would spin so he could get to a different part of his kit. But that's out of this world. That's amazing.
It was.
I gotta reach out to Tommy Lee so I can get on that thing and give it a shot.
There you go.
Talk about making a TikTok video.
Uh, what 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 rock stars did you look up to growing up? Like, who inspired you and stuff?
So my dad listened to all the older stuff. So Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones. So those were the ones I grew up with. I learned playing drums to the Rolling Stones and Charlie Watts, particularly because he had a very, very distinguished beat and he kept beat very well. So then I moved from him on to Ringo Starr from the Beatles, which I absolutely love the Beatles. They're one of my favorite groups. And
Nice.
so I guess those were like the main ones. I grew up listening to Fleetwood Mac, but I didn't really grow up drumming to Fleetwood Mac because, as you know, some of those beats are very complicated. So I'd have to say the Stones and probably the Beatles are the primary two bands that I grew up with.
Wow. Nice, nice. I mean, hey, you can't go wrong with either band. I mean, you're
Well, you
talking about the
cannot.
Stones, the Beatles, like they're they're like the top two bands, and the Beatles, so many like younger bands like covered their music. I
Right.
I think the Beatles are like the band that got covered the most, right?
I think so. And
Hmm.
it's interesting to see that like all the people try to do the covers and none of them are as good. They're never to that point. Like yet there's some other bands that people can cover and they can replicate it, which just goes to show that no matter what type of equipment is, just you need the four guys to make that type of sound because I've seen tribute bands, they have the same exact equipment, but they don't really sound like the Beatles. Like, it's just something about those four guys in the same stage that just made them the Beatles.
Oh, I
Just like the
know.
Stones on the stage, there's Stones tribute bands, but you need those original guys to do it.
Definitely, definitely. Now, out of the current stars out, like who would you like to work with, like out of the current rock stars or even a pop star? Like, is there anyone you want to work with?
I mean, like realistically, there's a couple, but like unrealistically, I mean, there's a whole bunch I'd love to work with. I kind of like bands like the Lumineers or that type of sound, you know. There's a band that they made a song. What is it called? I have it right here. It's Monsters of Folk, their song, His Master's Voice. That's a really great song. I really like the style of that. So if we can like get all those guys in the same room, that'd be pretty cool.
There you
Get
go.
a real nice mashup there.
Sweet, nice, nice. One of the songs that I really like of yours is "Love's the Strength,"
Love Strength, yeah.
and "Smiles" is good too. Like
Thank
I
you.
like "Love, Strength," and "Smiles." I was actually listening to some of your songs before I,
Thank
talk
you.
to you. So, can you tell me a little bit about the backstory about both songs?
Yeah, so
Love
I'll
Strong
go in
and Smiles?
order of which one. Yeah, I got you. In order of what they were written. Smiles is on my ukulele, so I'm gonna have to suffice here with a guitar. And what I found is that if you put a cape on the fourth fret, you can pretty much get the same chord progression. So originally, I started playing ukulele because I wanted to learn "Here Comes the Sun."
Oh,
And I found, like I said, the bottom four strings of the guitar on capo 4 are the four strings of the ukulele. So I started out on here, and then I just was randomly just like strumming, and I found the riff for Smiles. And then when I write songs, I find the progression first, and then I write the songs to the progression, not the other way around. So that one I just found a simple. How does it go? A simple progression. Oh man, I don't remember the progression. And then I just kind of wrote to it. So I wanted that song to be like a kind of happy, feel good song about, just good things happening in life.
yeah.
Now, Love Strength is entirely different. I had just got a whole looping machine, so I was testing it out with Love Strength. So I found that if you can like loop it, and Love Strength is just kind of about the challenges you face in life, how nice things they're great, but there's challenges that come with them. Let's see if I can pull the lyrics up. I could go like lyric by lyric, but I don't think that's necessary here. But I wrote that one. When did I write that one? That was not too long ago. I want to say maybe October. I can actually tell you right here. October 8th. So that one was kind of how like love is this hidden thing. It's
Hmm.
like it's not a hidden thing, pardon me. It has hidden things behind it. So it seems great on the outside, but sometimes it can be really dark. Sometimes it can be real good. But in the end, we all forgive each other and we all come out happy in the end. That's kind of what I wanted that song to be about. So that and then like I said, that's why that was my first time with the looper. And I love it. It came out really well.
Fine, fine. Oh, sweet, man.
And you
And I want to like when you're ready to write a song, like no matter what kind of song it is, like how do you get your mind frame ready? Like, is there any special things you do before you actually sit down to write sheet music or lyrics?
Right. So a lot of times what I do is I'm wherever I just write wherever. So I have a Google Doc that's currently, and I have it up. It's currently 99 pages of just all the songs I've written in part or in full. And I always put the first thing I do is I put the date and then whatever the progression is. Since I told you I do progression first, so I would just say C, G, D, and then I just keep playing it until I find the words I want, and I type the words. So honestly, I don't really have like a very I just kind of go into it like whenever I feel like it. I
Hmm.
don't. I very rarely am walking like I have a song idea. It's more so I sit. I'm like, let's see what I can put to this, and it just kind of happens.
Oh
I'm
wow.
sure I know a lot of musicians the other way, like where they like from 8 to 10, I'm gonna go write a song about the interview I'm gonna do tomorrow, type of thing. I don't. I just kind of write out whatever happens. I kind of write what's on my mind.
Okay. And like you write all your own lyrics and your sheet music, but you also edit everything yourself too, right?
I play with a couple exceptions on some of my albums, like the Resonance album. I had one of my friends, Zach, do lead guitar. He did lead guitar and bass in that. And I had my friend Alex on Summer Dream and Love Strength. He does lead guitar. and then
Okay.
he makes, in this case, Love Strength. But before that, I typically do everything myself. I do lyrics, voice, drums, and guitars, and sound effects myself. Because I kind of like that aspect of music is when it's original, or when it can be performed live and sound the same. You know, I respect bands that no matter how big they are, they can get on the stage and sound pretty close. I don't expect them to be perfect because
Well, yeah.
are different, but those bands that can get on stage and don't need all these computers, it can just sound exactly like their album. That's what I strive to be, because I don't want people when they hear my music live to be like, what song is that? Oh, that's that. Wow. You know, I like to be able to do, I like it to be realistic, achievable. There's only one song I can't actually sing or perform live, and it's The Box, because what happened is sometimes I always record when I'm writing songs.
Mhm.
So it's just this long blurb, and that one happened to be where I didn't write down the lyrics, I didn't write down the progression, so I don't know what I was playing. So I can't sing it live because I don't have the progression, unfortunately, and I've never made that mistake again.
Oh, wow. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I
And
hope that.
yeah, I I know what you mean. Like there, like last I've seen like a lot of shows, and there's bands that when I go see them, it like really doesn't sound like the record.
Right.
And but like one rock star I saw, like he sounded exactly like the record, and even at his age now, Alice Cooper, like
Oh
that
yeah.
guy is ageless. Like,
Oh, he
oh
really
my
is.
God.
Him and Paul McCartney, I swear, they're still going, and it's unbelievable. I don't know how they do it. Like, you know, people complain about the bands not being great. For example, Kiss. Right. For example, they get a lot of like, it's like widespread saying that they're not as good. But you have to understand, these guys are what, 60 to 70 years old, right? They made this 40 years ago. They're doing all the makeup and they're still sounding pretty close.
Yeah,
That's impressive. Like,
yeah.
I'd like to see you 50 years from now singing the same song while running around a stage and sounding decent with
That's
different technology too, because back then the audio and recording technology was really different. So
yeah.
um, I can't expect them to sound the exact same when they were recording with technology that was from 40 years ago. Things change, you know.
That's true. You're right about that.
I mean, there are some bands that are just genuinely not good live, which I mean, that's happened. There's some bands that they're studio bands where they're very good studio, and then live they aren't, the songs aren't meant to be played live, you
Hmm.
know. But we usually know who those are right away. But and there's nothing wrong with that because they're still producing fantastic music.
Oh yeah. And even the bands that don't sound good live, you still pay money to go see them.
You really do, you really do. Yeah, that's what I do miss about COVID is being able to go to all the concerts and stuff. You know, because that's the best part about music is getting to see these bands live, whether they're lip syncing or not. It's still very cool to see them live. You know, um, doing their shows because there's so much that goes into it that people don't really like. It, it's a science. I mean, they're doing so many of these shows and they have all these techies and all these, like that's complicated. You know, I don't usually have to deal with that, but um, I can only imagine.
Uh, you also are on TikTok, right? Like
Oh
you
yeah.
joined that. Okay, like so like how long ago did you join? See, I don't do TikTok. Everyone's telling me I should because of the site and everything. But so like what kind of stuff do you do on TikTok? Do you do like the trends or do you do like your own music?
I'd stay away from trends, I'll be honest. But I'll answer your first question. When did I get on it? It would have been January 27th of 2020. A lot of my friends recommended that I go on it. Like it's kind of like what you in your situation where I was like, you should do it, you should do it, you should do it. So I listened and gave in. I watched TikToks. I'm like, interesting. Okay. And then I was like, my first ever video was simply me doing this, but like in this like staircase here that reverberates at the school that I'm at. And it got 1,000 views. I was like, what? It's
Wow.
just he's just playing like that on the guitar. I did not expect that. And then I continued posting content, and then it picked up a lot. And then what do I do now? It's right now as sitting here now, it changes because I'm not at home with family. I have limited resources, but usually I
Hmm.
do motivation, positivity, and I've been starting a new series called Daily Facts or Fast Facts, where I give
Oh,
a random fun fact because I love learning new things. So I try to keep it to like motivation, positivity, and music. So that's what I try to keep it to.
oh
But
wow. Okay.
I'm not very good at keeping consistent with things. I kind of just do whatever. I'm like, oh, this might seem interesting. I'll make a video about it. This might seem interesting. Let's make a video about it.
Nice. Like, how long does it take? Because I know TikTok, like you have like anywhere between 15 seconds to like a minute.
Mhm.
So does it take you a while to edit a video?
Not typically. Usually, so how I do it is I use an app. I use one of two apps called Threads or Captions because what these apps do, they automatically put captions on the videos because if you do it manually, that's what takes absolutely forever. So I recently found that not only does it make it quicker, but if there's individuals who like may not be able to hear as well, like they can read what I'm saying. So I'm able to reach a larger community now. So I try to just record a TikTok, or I'll be I'll do one right now. What's your podcast with the Grue Room, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys? We are here live doing an interview for the Grue Room. You can go check them out, social media, and you get to see me talk about myself. No, seriously, go check them out. It's gonna be fun. And so I recorded like that. Then automatically it puts captions. I don't know where my camera is, so it puts captions on like that.
Oh, wow.
And then typically I could, like in this case, I would just send it right over TikTok and click post and a quick caption and a description. That's it. So to answer the question, maybe 10 minutes at most.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Unless it's a longer one, like a fax where I have to do the research, I have to get verified sources, and I try to do math because I like things with numbers.
Yeah.
To put things in perspective for you. So that's kind of my process. But when I used to do like YouTube videos, yeah, it used to take longer. But I like TikTok because it is quicker and it's more instant. It's more spur of the moment, spontaneous. So if something funny happens, I'm like, boom, let's make a TikTok. So I think it captures a more spontaneity than like a YouTube video does, for example, where it is edited. It takes a long time. It's more so like this, like what I'm going to post. Can I post that, by the way, the one I just made of you?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So it's like that spontaneous, that's how I like it to be. I don't like these planned out, staged. No, I don't like that. Sure, I can do some crazy things staged, of course. Anyway, but I like it to be more natural.
And speaking of YouTube, like you do your own show, right? Where you talk to guests and interview them.
Yeah, so I do. It's called It's Not So Late Show with Aaron Hanania, and I just started it a couple of weeks ago. So my goal is to try to get individuals from different fields to not only just talk about what they do, but kind of connect a little deeper. Because a lot of people, there's a lot of podcasts that just interview people about what they do. But I like getting to go past that and talk about like how does their industry relate to the bigger world. I'm in the works right now of another series. Since I studied the environment, it's probably going to be called like Then and Now, or like, probably Then and Now or Here and Now with Aaron Hanania. And we're going to be discussing, I'm going to find people in the environmental sector, or I'm going to talk about different environmental conflicts or environmental issues and things like that, because I want to advocate for what's going on in the greater world. That has not been released yet, and you're actually the first to hear about it.
Oh, sweet. That actually sounds really, really awesome. I like that.
Thank you. It's going to be a lot, because I try to do every week, but I try, emphasis on the word try. Trying and doing it are very different things.
Oh, man, trust me.
It's very hard to line up consistent guests, but now it's a little bit easier with this digital Zoom era, whereas before you'd have to track them down in person and then try to get up to them, that's the challenge. You can get in the same room, but trying to get up to them and get 10 minutes is not easy.
I know, it's crazy. Like the crazy thing is with like guests, like sometimes like some guests I'll contact right on their page. Like I'll ask them if they want to do an interview for the show, but then when it goes further than them, when you have to talk to their like bookers and stuff, and that's when it gets bad, because then they either don't message you back, or the booker says, oh, I talked to my client and I'm gonna pass, or this and that, just because they see like I don't have the numbers that like Entertainment Tonight has,
Right. That's part of the reason I do is I manage myself for things of that nature, at least. So I run my social medias. I'm the one that I make the final call on anything like that. And I try to stay away from mainstream sources. So I personally would not do something with like an Entertainment Tonight because I like the up and coming, you know, I don't like the mainstream because the mainstream, they usually have a reason they're interviewing you, not just because they like what you do.
Exactly.
It's very rarely they're not just interested in what you do. It's because they're trying to like get you to say something or they want to surface something. And I just don't have any reason to be there. So I like interviews like this where, you know, I know that you're not like just internationally acclaimed. I like that, you know, like it's more personable too than, you know, those big mainstream type news sources.
Exactly. Like that's like a thing too. Like I've been told by a few of their like bookers and stuff that you know I don't have the numbers, I don't have the followers. Well, how am I going to get the followers or the numbers if you don't give me a chance to interview one of your big stars? Like,
it shouldn't be about that. Like I always the one mistake everyone makes, and the one piece of advice I give every single person is do not worry about your numbers. Do not worry about your numbers. Do not worry about your numbers because the numbers don't matter necessarily because they're not necessarily representative of you. I could have 1 million followers and only get 100 likes on an Instagram post versus having 150 followers and getting 95 likes on an Instagram post. So it's not about the numbers at all. It's about do you enjoy making the content? And is at least one person in the world else enjoying it? If so, then you're doing something right. Because very rarely will you get 0 views. I've never seen anything get 0 views unless like the video is blocked or something. So as long as there's one other person that enjoys it, that's what it should be about. I think a lot of people are doing it for the money. They think there's money with numbers. And I don't do that because then I don't enjoy it as much. You know, I don't want to be like forced to do it. I want to do it because I want to do it because I love what I do type of thing. And I wish more people were like that. I'm sad that they're not, but you know.
Oh no, trust me, I know.
Yeah. And that's probably why people won't do your thing too. Cause they're like, oh, if he doesn't have 50,000 followers, I'm probably not going to make much money off of this interview. That only takes 10 minutes of their time or 30, 40 minutes of their time anyway.
I'm not. Yeah, right. Exactly. You know, I'm just like, all right, whatever. You know, I'll find someone else. I'll just keep looking.
And then when you have a ton of followers and the same person comes back and you say, sorry, you know, I can't fit you in the schedule because then they'll want to get on your podcast.
Exactly. Like YouTube and TikTok are like really big with like young artists. What advice would you give to someone starting out, someone young that's starting out that wants to be a YouTube or TikTok star?
A TikTok star is first of all go in having a goal, which I can't. I say that even though I didn't do that because I did not expect to become as successful as I did on social media. Right, I kind of joined it kind of the same reason you would. Everyone told me I should, but now since I know what I'm doing there, I'd say have a goal. And don't have the goal be hit 1,000 followers, hit 10,000, hit 100,000, because those goals don't work. You should go in with a goal and find a niche that is you and that you enjoy doing. Again, something I didn't really do because I was trying to figure out, and perhaps still am, and constantly changing.
Yeah.
And the third thing that I don't do that I should do is stay consistent, right? I do post every day, and I recommend people, if you're on TikTok, post every day. YouTube, maybe once or twice a week, because posting every day and editing is very difficult. So have consistency, because I noticed that when I was consistent, for example, in January, I would get videos that would get 1.5 million views in a couple hours. So it was my statistics. I got 10,000 followers in a couple of weeks because I started posting very consistent content that was a niche that people enjoyed and that's interactive. But other than that, I encourage you to be yourself too. Like, don't try to be something you're not. And don't do what people tell you to do. Do what you want to do. I guess that's just if you're starting out. But yeah, if you're starting out, don't be alarmed when you don't have any followers or when you're like, oh, I don't have 1 million followers, because it's not about the numbers. Especially starting out, it's really hard to start out. You know, and that's the fun part is like, trying to get new people to be interested in what you do.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. And you also wrote a book too, right? With King's Dawn, is it?
The King's Pawn, yes.
Pawn, King's Pawn, not Dawn.
Yeah,
I
and it's
can't
not
even
about
read my
chess.
own handwriting.
That's a mood, man. I mean, I have all these sticky notes here that I have notes on, and I'm sitting here now, like I'm not sure what that letter is, but I connect two and two together to get 7, type of deal.
So what was your book about?
So I wrote that. Wow, that was junior year of high school is when it got published.
Wow, really?
Yeah, so that one was probably 2019, 2018-ish. And I was really, and still am partially really interested in the idea of human psychology. So there's experiments such as the 72 Stanford prison experiment that was conducted at Stanford University. There was a couple other ones where social conformity. For example, there's a famous group experiment done with lines where there were like 8 people in the room. One of them was an experimenter. So for example, 8 people that were in on the experiment and one in on it person comes in, and all 7 people or 8 people say line 1 is the longest, when clearly the correct answer is line 2. And this tested what would people do. Would they go against the whole group? And only 1 out of 10 or 15 did. So I was really interested in that, just like the idea of human psychology and sociology. And so I wanted to write a book about youth psychology. So I was like, what happens if you put youth as in 16, 17-year-olds, so teenagers, in a perfectly controlled world and give them full power to do whatever they want? What will happen? And that's pretty much what my book is about, is an experiment that gives 2 children full power in their society. And the outcome is to figure out what will happen.
Yeah, okay. All right. That sounds good. I like that.
Thank you. I've since reworked it, and I'm looking at republishing it because I was originally going to write 2 books, and so I did is I combined them into one, and I've just been so bogged down with the work and different projects I haven't gotten out to republishing it.
Yeah.
And then I wrote another one about the pandemic that was going to be released January 19th of 2020, and we got a little bit backlogged on that. So then March comes in, and I'm hearing news of this virus, and I'm like, let's wait a couple days, let's let that virus come down, because I don't know if I want to publish a book about a virus as the viruses get found. And then obviously we're sitting here now, and it's not just some little virus, right?
Yeah.
So I maybe writing a book about a global pandemic, publishing my book about a pandemic that is global, probably not a good idea during a global pandemic. So I probably won't end up releasing it.
Okay. Now, the book you wrote, is that anywhere to buy now? Can fans buy it?
Yeah, you can buy it pretty much anywhere books are sold, to be honest. More so online. So you can get I think on Barnes and Noble. I haven't looked in a while, to be honest, but it used to be Barnes and Noble, Amazon, and then the publishing house Lulu.com as well.
Sweet. And you also have merch too, right? I saw you have a page of merch.
Yeah, I have merch. I have you can pretty much get anything. I don't like having my own merch, and the only reason I do is so that when I talk about it, I can show people. I'm not that person that loves seeing my on things. It's more so that if I'm doing a TikTok live, I can kind of plug my merch by wearing a shirt, and then I have a mouse pad and my phone case is in there, but I don't think I have it. And then I have a phone case. So yeah, we did that. That was again during the summer when TikTok blew up. I was someone's why don't you release a line of merch? I'm screw it, why not? Let's see what happens.
Sweet, nice.
Thank you.
And out of all the songs you wrote, all the songs you did, what song do you think has been your best one, or one you had the most fun doing?
Oh, that's a good question. So I have about 200 songs.
Oh.
I've released, I think, 17 of them. Because I'm very picky about what I release. So statistically speaking, I think White River had the most streams at just under 10,000 or ish. I haven't checked the analytics in over 7 or 8 months. So this was as of mid to early 2020 numbers. So that one did the best. But I think the one I had the most fun with It's not published yet, and it's gonna probably be called Salt Creek. It's just like I'm trying to get like I can play the riff. I'm not gonna sing the song, but I will
Yeah,
play
you're
the
right.
riff. I kind of want to get like a twang, like let's get close to the mic. So that's one of my favorite to play because it's just like it's a catchy little riff. But the one that had the most work going into it, probably maybe the Deeps, the Residence album. That was a lot of work, and the Love Strength that I wanted that one to be perfect. So I'd say Love Strength took the most amount of time to do. The album I'm working on now definitely has passed that in time because I've been working on some of these songs for 9, 10, 11 months now, and I still haven't recorded any of them. But my favorite one to sing like at live. Oh man, let's see. Let's look at the set list. Man, I have my screen here, my set list. I like singing my song "Wilderness" live because they're all close to me. But like that one is about the environment and like the world around us. So I guess that one has a little special place in my heart.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, and I see you're big into games too, because you have a Twitch account.
Yeah, so like I said, during like December when I was like on December break, I was like that's when I became really consistent because I had like not a lot of work and I only have one class all January. So I'm like I was able to like grind out and I was finding I was very successful when I was doing it. Like a lot of when you put in more time, more effort into it, you get that you know you get what you put into it, I guess. And now I'm not putting as much time. I'm not having as high of a yield. So people are like, why don't you start a Twitch? And I do because I would do live streams on TikTok for hours. So I'm like, people like watching games. So I was
Yeah,
like I Minecraft. So I was like, let's try that. You know, I could talk because that's a game that you don't have to have just focus on. You can talk while doing it. And
yeah.
people enjoyed it. So I would do like 40, 50 hours a week of that. And
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. I was going to do one tonight after our interview because normally around this time, like 8:30, I'm working till around 11. So 11, I go find a piano and learn because I'm teaching myself. I go play it. I might after an interview, I might hop on Twitch because you mentioned it. Might do a Twitch and try to bring that back, you know. Yeah, it's fun. It's games. I mean, I don't really play games. I never have been a big game player, but that's one of the exceptions is when I'm doing a Twitch stream.
Okay.
Because I actually promote publicly not playing games, which is ironic. When I did my book, people would always ask, how did I do it? Because I wrote it on my phone in school. That's like on school time. So like in between classes, after a test, like during breaks, on the bus. And people are like, how do you have so much time to do this? And I'm like, because I don't play video games for 12 hours a day, right? I spend 12 hours writing songs or working on things, you know. Even now, I wake up at 7 in the morning and I'm going to like 1 in the morning just working.
Wow. Okay.
Straight through things because I like to be busy. I don't like to waste time, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know when I'm an adult and if I have a job, I'm not gonna be able to have all this free time.
Sure,
I gotta enjoy it while it lasts.
right, right, you're right. uh, like our site deals a lot with like horror films, so
Yes.
I wanted to ask you if you're a horror fan at all, and if you are, what are some of your best horror films of all time?
Ooh. Now, horror, does that include like thrillers and like
Oh,
ghost stuff?
definitely,
Like is that all under the
definitely,
category?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm really bad with film names and things of that nature. But for horror ones, I like the like tacky ghost movies. Like I like them, you know, like that Conjuring or like those oh God, Paranormal Activity. Yeah,
Yes.
I just like those. They get me all the time. They're tacky, but like I like it, you know. I like that. There's this great one. I don't know. It's called Unfriended, but there's one. The
I
ones where
saw
they're
that.
on the screen. They tell this movie, and the production that's a marvel that they made a video entirely on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's two of those. I really like those. And then I'd say more so. I'm more into like the murder type shows. So I watch a lot of those like documentaries about like Joan went missing on the 13th of January. Her neighbors heard a mysterious sound and called the local police department. 13 years later, like I like those types of shows because it's like I want to know what happened, you know. So I don't know if that falls under horror. I'm more so
Oh no, it
horrific.
does.
But that's what I say. I watch those more than like the horror films. But I'll watch horror films with friends because like it's fun. We eat popcorn, turn all the lights down, watch a good horror film, and it's not super complicated to understand. Like like Interstellar, one of my favorite movies. Like, good luck trying to figure out what that movie's about. Like, that's like, it feels like doing a math equation trying to understand the thing. So that's why I like horror genre, because I have ADHD and and it's hard for me to like sit through movies, but horror always gets me because you're on the edge of your seat.
Oh yeah.
It's not like a love story where like, get to the point. Oh, yep, yeah, of course you're gonna break up by the end. Like, you never predict a good horror film. They're hard to predict.
Yeah, exactly. You're right.
Yeah, I like the. I'm not super big on the blood and guts. I'm not like, doesn't like gross me out. It's just like sometimes I'm like, it's a little extra. But there's a great one. I don't know. It's about like this. It's not experiments, but like where they had to like work their way through it. I just don't. The escape room or something along that lines.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm getting that right. It's kind of like those ones. I kind of like those ones. Like they're just screwed up, but like it's interesting. It's like, I really hope this doesn't happen in real life, but it's entertaining to watch, but there's also like, I don't know, I'm sure you watch it. Horror films, they're like sometimes so frustrating to watch because sometimes the characters don't do the smart thing. They'll be like, oh, let's look for the light as they're like standing next to a light switch, or they're like, be quiet. Gotta be quiet. They don't want them to hear us. As they're like screaming, I'm like, in telling you to be quiet, you've definitely given up your cover.
Yeah.
Or like they'll trip over the tree while running, and I'm like, you don't have to sit there and be like, Like it's not like a simple fall doesn't like decommission you entirely. Like, get back up and keep running. You're on adrenaline. You should you can break an ankle, should still be able to run a marathon. Like, so like that's sometimes I'm like, why did you do that? Or like, I'm very guilty of yelling at them like, you idiot, why did you? You're gonna die, dude. Around the one that my friends and I, we always have a thing. We pick who's gonna die first, and those
we
always find the character like, okay, who's dying first? And we're like that one dude. That one dude doesn't seem like he's gonna survive a day in the wilderness. He's gone. And I always wondered what it's like playing those roles where like, you gotta be that guy that gets killed in the first 5 minutes. Like, oh man, you get the call, you got hired for a movie, and then you find your role like first death. That's got to be pretty disappointing.
Right, exactly.
The main characters never die, which is like, it's good and bad. It's like, I want to see them like kill off an A-lister. I wouldn't mind that, being like an A-lister like died in the first 20 minutes.
Well, did you ever see Scream?
Yes, long time ago.
The first, like, everyone thought Drew Barrymore was going to be the main character, and they kill her off in like the first five minutes of the movie.
I vaguely remember that. And then now she's a huge A-lister now, She's great. She just did a great film. It had the worst ratings. I don't know why. And it was called The Stand. I want to say The Stand-In, where she played the role of this A-lister actress, and then her stand-in, and how
I heard about that. Yeah.
I watched it. I thought it was great. Everyone's like, it's so bad. It's so poorly made. It's such a bland plot line. I'm like, but I liked it a lot. Maybe it just shows I have really bad taste in films, because I think the great ones, everyone that rates great movies, I'm like, it wasn't that good.
Yeah.
And the ones like rated like junk, I'm like, that's a movie. That's when I go see in the theaters again.
I know the feel. I'm the same way. I'll be like, oh, this movie rocked, and they'll be like, why, it sucked.
Yeah. And I always relate to the party when people are like, you should watch this movie. I write everything down, I wish I could show you my table. I have 15 sticky notes. This one
nice.
This one's titled Things People Say. So like when someone's like, oh, you should try this out, or like, oh, read this book or do this. And there's 9 movies on here. And have I watched any of them yet? No. Because I haven't had time. So like Bird Box, I remember when that came out. Everyone's like, such a good film. I want to say I watched it like 6 to 8 months after it came out. And then I watched it like, wow, that Bird Box film was so good. Everyone's like, yeah, you're a little late.
Yeah, you're late to the game.
Like, sorry. But when movies used to be in the theaters, it used to be easier before the pandemic, because that was one of my favorite things. Is like, I like seeing the movies, eating popcorn, watching the movie.
Exactly.
That's just how I'd spend my Friday nights, watching a movie. But I miss that.
I know. Oh my God.
The movies haven't been that good. And I'd say in the last 5 years, the movies have been like okay. like now it's a matter of like who can remake an original better.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. I want them to come out. I want Disney to come out with like new ones, like a new Cars, with like not Cars, with something creative and original, like something like up creative and original, not like Cars 49. Lightning McQueen retires, has to pick a new racer. Who will win the Piston Cup? Find out at Disney. And Disney Cars 51 coming out spring of 2059. Like Star Wars. I've lost track of Star Wars. I think we're on Star Wars 459,000.
Oh my God, I know. There's like so
And they're all
many,
great, but
so
they're getting
many.
longer. And they're getting longer and longer. I'm like, oh, this one's 3 hours, man. Okay. And there's like 10 minutes of action scenes. Come on,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man. I want to go back to like the original ones where like there was like 5 minutes of non-action scenes.
Right, exactly. So, uh, who's currently on your like iPod or your playlist? Like, who are you currently listening to?
Oh man, so that changes on the daily. Since what happens is I
Sure
like to
does.
find random scenes, random not scenes, pardon me, songs, and I listen to them on repeat like when I work. So on the top of my list, there's this guy named John Class, and I don't. If we get copyrighted, we get copyrighted. Um, this song was on TikTok. So he happens to be joining me on my podcast tomorrow, actually.
Nice.
But I've been listening to that one on like repeat, and then Silver Lining by Mount Joy and Love of the Band are on my repeat. But like I'd say in the last over the last year, consistently my favorite song has been it's called "Going Gets Tough" by the Growlers. I'd say that one's been my number one. Or the Interstellar soundtrack. You can never go wrong with a good old Cornfield Chase song.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, like I said, it changes all the time because I know I kind of get tired of a song and then it stays in the playlist, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I hear I'm like, oh yeah, I like that one. That's a good one. I'm always five songs. How about you? Do you got any on your current playlist?
Yeah, like me, I still like all the old stuff, 80s.
Yeah.
Like music, like Def Leppard, Poison,
Yeah.
Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, White Snake, like bands
Yeah.
like that. Alice Cooper, of course, Kiss.
Oh, I like I've been listening to a lot of Loverboy and Jefferson Starship since I saw them in concert last year, right before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I got to meet them after the gig, and they were great. So I like their songs because they're good. And I like some new bands that try to sound old.
Yes.
New bands that have the old sound. I like it a lot. I'd love to see you try to do that live because I'm sure it was all done in the studio. But still, I like the I like kind of simple. I don't like this super techno music. I'm not a big fan. I like the simple drums, guitar, bass, some synths, keyboard, and a singer. Simple.
Nice.
That's my preference for music. So a lot of the stuff I listen to is kind of more simple and not out of this world, outrageous, unusual things. Because there is some interesting music where they do some really unusual things, and then it's not a bad thing. It's just it's interesting, but not my style.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I'm the same way. I like real music. I mean, not saying old, because if I ever have a pop guest on here, oh, you said our music isn't real.
I like more acoustic. We can say instead of real, more acoustic music versus electronic. Like I would say, a band that can get up and sound pretty the same on stage. And there's some pop bands. There are some pop bands that do really electronic-y things, but then they perform it live, and they somehow manage to do it pretty on point, which is really impressive because they have to use all sorts of computers and loop pedals. Now that's impressive to watch. There's a band called Coin that you would think that they're going to sound completely different live, and then they sound exactly the same live. And you're like, wow. And then you come to find out that it's literally all lead guitar, and there's no synths, and you're like, wow, that's impressive.
Is there anything coming out next for you? Any songs or books or?
Oof, there's all of the aforementioned in the works. It's just a matter of what's going to get done first. I would like to get some of these songs that I've been working on now out. I really do, but it's just my voice hasn't been very strong lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on the prowess looking for a singer because I want a singer because the singer makes the song. I want a singer I don't have the greatest voice. I have a voice that you can listen to, sure, but I'm not like going to be selling out stadiums with my voice. So I want somebody who's got a very good voice that's reliable and who is versatile. I want them to be able to do a couple different sounds.
Yeah.
So once I find that, then all these that I've written are just going to be now a matter of recording. So then you'll see like a huge album drop from me. But right now I just found, because I like to go back and listen to some of my old stuff just to see like in my random like Logic profiles. I just found a great one that's like an instrumental. So that one will probably be released next. Voyager, because I'm like, I might just have to touch it up a little bit. That's potential, because I haven't released since like I said, last year. I haven't released any songs this year in 2021, and we're at March, and so we're a little bit late to the party. Normally, I like to do a song every day on my birthday, every year on my birthday. Last year, I did 02202020. That was released on my birthday.
Okay.
This year, I just didn't have anything made. Then, like I said, podcast. I try to do those weekly, and then I have the new environmental one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find guests for that. It's a little difficult because that's a more narrow industry.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Obviously these aren't going to be A-listers, right? So, trying to find an audience might be a little challenging. And then I just broke this guitar yesterday. So music's going to have to be put on hold until I can either get another one because I play left-handed. So it's really hard to find them, because there's like for every 100 right-handed guitars, there's like one, if you're lucky, left-handed. And it's going to be the bass one that's not electric. That's the issue I've been running into. So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I have like, if you can tell, I do a little bit of a lot.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Every single thing. So it's just a matter of like which one is going to be sustainable long-term that's going to work.
Okay.
I have some gigs. I'm trying to book some gigs now that COVID's on the downtake, because that's where most of my audience base is from shows and bars. I don't do big shows. I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a couple very large shows, and like I'm not going to tell you which band, but there's a very, very known band that played across the river, and they sold out real quick, and then they had me open for them. I didn't like the type of show because you can't have the interaction, right? I like when I can talk to the audience and see individual people.
Yeah.
I feel awkward standing in a room with about 1,000+ people just playing my songs as they're in silence because obviously they don't know my music, which is fine. I'm not, people don't sing my songs like, for example, 21 Pilots because I just don't have that fan base, and that's fine. And I expect that when I go live that people aren't going to. So when you have a room of 1,000 people and it's like I can hear myself through the in-ears, and then I have mics throughout the room and you can hear that like just like random people coughing, or you hear like, excuse me, or the random like, yeah, woo, I don't know. I like being able to talk to my audience, and like when I sing, I very much do talk, or I'll change the lyrics because that's something I'm known for. Is like I have the worst memory you'll ever meet of anybody you'll ever meet. I can promise you that because I do have lyrics on stage with me when I'm singing.
Yeah.
Because my memory is that bad that I don't know the lyrics to the songs. Because I write so many, it's like if I remember all this, then like I should be doing like some like data analytics or something with it, like using that brain power. I just don't have it. So I do like every show is different. You've seen bigger bands. A lot of them, you can go to one show and the next night they're going to play the exact same way.
Yeah.
To the point where you can probably get videos of both, line them up in like an editing software. The only thing that's to be different is the crowd audience sound. I don't really like that. I like the fact that no two performances of mine are alike. It keeps the originality of music that I like. Because I don't necessarily, I get bored too. So I'm like, if I sing the same songs in the same order, the same way every night, like I'm going to lose my mind like after a week. So I respect those bands that do like whole world tours and they play the same songs every night for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I'm like, that's dedication. I mean, it's probably muscle memory. They just get out there and like do it. I like to keep it original and I like to be on my feet. So yeah, every time I perform, I just do something different. That's why I don't release many of my songs because I like to whip them out. Like, here's an unreleased one, so I can do different. I like to just change it up, man. I really do.
Okay, sweet. And where can fans find you at, like with your social medias?
Everything's under my name. So Aaron Hanania. You can find me there, like TikTok, Twitter. Like I have master links. If you just type in Aaron Hanania, you can find it. And then my Instagram is the only one that's unusual. That's Aaron Hanania Music, because I have a private Instagram account, And that's created more issues than you'd think because everyone doesn't know which one to follow. So like I'm sure there's 400, 500, 600 people that followed my private one, and I have to DM like, sorry, this is my private one. You can follow my main one. You know, I should probably work on that. But yeah, you can find me anywhere. What is my website? It changes so much. I think it's HananiaHypeSquad.com or just AaronHananiaMusic.com.
Okay.
But yeah.
Nice.
Pretty much
And sweet, man. I don't like. Can you do 2 songs or just one? Because I know you said your guitar's down.
Yeah, I can do a couple. I can try to see what I can do here. So here's my handy dandy Ibanez. This thing, I tell you, I kid you not. This thing's definitely like probably seen more action than like a war because I mean this is so banged up. Because I'll tell you a fun story with this one. I was doing a show out here near college, and I don't know if you know the language, like a stagehand or a guitar tech is the guy, like one of those big bands when the guy breaks a string, he just like hands his guitar, like magic, the new one comes out of the air, thin of the air, like
yes.
drummer, he like they come and fix his stuff. That's called a drum tech or a guitar tech or a stagehand. And I was doing a show here, and the guy dropped it. Like he literally like he dropped the guitar, like he put it out, or like he tried to grab it from me. And he just and then dropped and it broke this. But and I'm not like those bands where like we got like 50,000 guitars and cases.
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
we got like, here's another one and 2 sides. Like if I usually only have 1 or 2 on me, and that one I had just had him to because I needed him to fix one of the knobs. So then he ended up having to restring it because it detuned so bad and like I said, this thing's fought a war or 2 or 3. And it puts up with me on the daily. So. Yeah, I did right here. Let's see, what song do I want to sing you? I can sing you part of Love Strength. What I'll do is instead of singing 2 full songs, because I'd rather change it up. I'll sing you the lengthwise, like time-wise of what would be 2 songs, but I'll sing you like 4 or 5. I'll just do the choruses of a whole bunch of songs.
Okay, sounds good.
Does that work? Okay. Let's tune it, make sure we're in tune before I do this. I tuned it before I got on here for your show. I just want to make sure that it's sweet. It is in tune. And yes, I do use built-in tuners. I'm not one of those play by ear. Can you hear my guitar okay?
Yeah.
Me. Let's do that. This one's called Love Strength. We're just going to turn down. Sorry for the things I've said. I'm sorry for the things I've done. Where did life wanna go? Who did I wanna be? In this world of broken things, I remain in one piece. We went away. I messed up the lyrics. That's good. We went our ways as time passed on. We came together as we passed on. So that's Love Strength. That one has been released. So I'm going to sing you a part of a song called B, just the letter B.
Okay.
And it's about really bad people that come in your lives and how you need to push through the pain. And on the other side of the pain is really great things. And it's also about like if there is somebody that's not treating you right, to like put them past you because there's 9 or 8 billion people in this world. I guarantee you're going to find someone else. Life's so full of pain when it could have been so happy. All these things we used to do, all these things we wanted to be. I remember the one all these things we used to do, all these things we wanted to be. Those things you used to tell me, they went right up through me. All these people who used to I'm a free man, I'm a bird up in the sky. I'm a free man, I'm a free soul, I'm free from your control. So that one's not been released yet. That's a new one that will eventually be released. Let's see, which one do I want to do? This one is also about not great people. So this is my hidden capo trick. I don't know if you know what a capo is. It's these things on the guitar. Now, if you put two of them on a guitar, you can get really unusual alternate tunings. That's an open note. So,
okay.
with normal. This one's called the Trip of Fire, as of right now, at least. Goes around every day. It goes like fire with a fire with the flood. Every day it comes around, wanting me more than the light. Come on and take me on the trip of the fire and the flood. Come on and take me on the trip of the fire and the flood. That one's fun. I think that one might actually be one of the most fun to play. And now I'm gonna sing you. This one is released. Now this one's probably like the hardest to sing just because of like the meaning of it. And it's literally the meaning is to not miss out on the great things in life or the people in life, because I think that there's a lot of people that they take for granted the great things that they have in life, and then when they're gone, they regret not appreciating those things in those people. So this song's called Wise Man. It's about exactly that. It's about like once something's gone and you want it back, you can't have it, and then you wish you cherished it more because you take it for granted. That's not the right key. That is also not the right key. You looking for me today. That's also not the right key. 2, 4. That's why. Okay, there it is. There we go. Gonna have to cut that out. You looking for me today. Looking for the boots you had. Strengths I had, looking at you, listening to the time did. It created pain for me and you know he's lost in time, the time lost in hours. How do I get it back before it's gone? Sing you my favorite song is Wilderness, because I was talking to you about this earlier. I'm an environmental science major, and so I love sharing about what's going on in the world. It's depressing, but so this one's called Wilderness, and this one is released as well. So this one you can hear it everywhere. Let's do it. I gotta play it down here. Clock faster the minutes captured our minds, driving down the late night roads. Driving down the late night roads, crashing back to a good sometime. Thank you.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
I sing that song actually, because I like that when I get in the groove.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Wow.
so The hardest part is trying to find the picking patterns for those. But like I said, I like writing on 4-chord progressions. If you've noticed it, everything's repetitive. In this case, sometimes 2, but like that one was just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I just like that because then you can change up your voice, right? Because in music, something has to change. Whether it's the drums, the guitars, the vocals, I choose it to be my vocals because it's harder for me to change like progressions in the mid song. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah, that was great, man.
So
Wow.
much. Thank
Damn,
you.
okay. Damn, buddy, thank you. Thank you so much for coming on and being a guest.
Thanks for having me. Keep up the podcast interviews. I don't know how you do it. Like, as some podcaster, I see at least 4 times a day an Instagram notification saying you're interviewing somebody else. I'm like, how do you do it? Like, man, I don't know how you're finding these people. Like, and I'm like, wow, like you find so many people. I'm like, some of them I have not heard their name before. So I'm like, this is interesting that you're finding these people that are just joining your podcast and like, oh my
Yeah.
God, you're a master networker. You're doing something right.
At least I hope I am, right?
Oh my God, yeah. And that's why I was surprised when I know I don't talk about numbers that much, but like when I saw when you DM'd me, I saw all the things you were doing and I saw the numbers, I was like, wow. Yeah, like this is like you're doing so much. I'm like, wow, this is impressive. And I saw your website and I was like, that's probably where your main source of people
Yeah.
are. I typed it in and that came up right away. So I'm like, that's probably, and I noticed you write stories for each interview, which is smart.
Yeah.
Google searches keywords, so you get more people to view your content that way. But I do recommend you get on TikTok and record. Don't just post the interviews on TikTok. Just say like maybe like a question and then film vertically. It's like, oh, I'm like, what's your favorite? Something random, or just you do something random, but. And then, because then they'll share it to their people if they are on TikTok, and then you get more people. And then when you hit 500 followers, you can put your website link in the bio, and then you're like, oh, I do podcasts daily, or you can stream it on TikTok, and people can join you there. People can donate if they want. So like TikTok is a very great platform because it reaches the younger generation.
I noticed a lot of young people are on there.
And that's great. That's great because they're going to age with you. That's why I like having my audience in the age range